Last week, Coach contributed and talked to us about the reality TV show, the basketball version of the reality TV show between Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant. So there's been a lot of different big-time news that has hit the NBA this past week. And before the All-Star game could conclude, there was a big trade on last week, probably the biggest trade out of the NBA trade deadline. And the trade was between the Sacramento Kings and the New Orleans Pelicans. Sacramento Kings had perennial all-star DeMarcus Cousins, who was in line to make big money by re-signing with Sacramento this summer. But we see that Sacramento traded him to the New Orleans Pelicans, and the New Orleans Pelicans in return sent first-round draft pick of 2016, Buddy Hield, former first-round draft pick and also oftentimes injured Tyreke Evans, as well as they sent, who else did they send? Langston Galloway, a guard, and also they sent a protected first-round pick in 2017 draft, as well as a second-round pick. All right, Coach, what are your thoughts about the blockbuster trade?
Well, to call it a blockbuster trade would be an understatement or overstatement. Let's look at what Sacramento got. First of all, you got Buddy Lee. That's what I call it, Buddy Lee.
Buddy Lee.
Who was averaging 30 points almost in college. But he gets to the NBA, he's averaging 5. Maybe 9, 5, 9, not even double digits. Then we got Tyreke Evans.
Injured Evans.
Yes, my shoulder hurts, my arm hurts, everything hurts. And he's not the same player he was when he started out in the NBA. Mm-hmm. Finally, along with the draft pick, you got Langston Hughes. He wrote a great novel wait a minute, I'm sorry. Langston Galloway. Thank you, Langston Galloway.
Yeah.
And I want to ask anybody, has anybody ever heard of Langston Galloway until this trade? No.
Except for if you were a New York Knicks fan.
Except if you're a Knicks fan. Now, for the New Orleans Pelicans, you get a perennial all-star. Mm-hmm. Now, people say, oh, wow, him and Anthony Davis, Twin Towers, 2017. But it's going to take some time. Look at last night. They combined for 52 points and lost by 30. So don't be a rush to judge. Now, personally, I think they're going to make the playoffs because that last spot, which is held by Denver, they're only a couple of games ahead of Denver. So I think they can make the playoffs. But your reward, Golden State, Merry Christmas.
So why do you say it was a reward for Golden State?
Because Golden State is going to beat them 4 straight games. They may win 1, but I mean, Golden State is Golden State. I think it's going to be a complete sweep. Now, next year, if the Pelicans address the wing position and get a shooting guard, who knows what the sky is for them? They may be better, but it's going to take some time. So, Big Easy, be patient. Give those guys a chance.
So let me ask you a question, Coach, before I give you my take, because I have several angles that I want to address this on. A lot of the pundits and analysts on television, Stephen A. Smith on First Take, and other pundits and analysts said that basically New Orleans performed a heist by what they had to give, or what little they gave to the Sacramento Kings. Do you agree with that thought process?
Well, basically, you're going to get the owners of the Pelicans, when they go to deliver the checks, they're going to be wearing masks and a gun. They're going to have a gun. Because they stole all-star 28 points, 12 rebounds from Sacramento, who they have shown they know nothing. Their front office knows nothing. They gave away Isaiah Thomas. Look where he is now with Boston. They gave away, his name escapes me.
Which one?
For Miami. Whiteside. They had Whiteside.
That's right.
Look at the team you could have had, and you gave them away. You didn't give them a chance to develop. You gave them away. So Sacramento, Vlade, maybe the English language is a little too much for you. I don't know.
Well, Coach, here's my take. You've brought out some valid points. Some people definitely have strong feelings that basically the Sacramento Kings performed a garbage trade. There were a lot of folk, because it's Cousins and Cousins, is averaging 27.8 points, 10.7 rebounds, 4.9 assists. Great numbers. His career numbers are 21.1 points, 10.8 rebounds, 3 assists for his career. His last 4 seasons, 22.7 points the last 4 seasons. So Boogie is a franchise player. There is no ifs, ands, buts about it. Talent-wise, he is one of the best.
Yes, sir.
Therefore, there were a lot of people probably looking for the Sacramento Kings to be able to get a Herschel Walker-like trade. When the Dallas Cowboys sent Herschel Walker to the Minnesota Vikings, and then basically the Minnesota Vikings gave them every good pick for the next 3 to 4 drafts. Matter of fact, if we kind of try to compare it, historically, look at what happened. Through that Herschel Walker trade, the Vikings gave to the Cowboys in 1989 their first-round draft pick, their second-round draft picks. From 1990 to 1993, they gave 3 first-round picks, 3 second-round picks, and from that, they got Emmitt Smith, Alvin Harper, Darren Woodson. So some folk, because of Boogie's production, they were thinking that Sacramento should receive something like the Dallas Cowboys received for Senator Herschel Walker. So therefore, getting Buddy Hield, Evans, Galloway, a first pick, which some folk were upset that they allowed it to be top 3 protected.
Right.
Which means that if by chance the Pelicans fall in the lottery and get one of the top 3 picks, then Sacramento can't get their pick for the 2017 year. They have to wait another year. So some folk have problems with that. Also, they are giving away their 2017 second pick. Now, right now, it looks like the Kings will probably get that pick.
Yes, probably.
Because even though the NBA has a lottery system, they normally give the most ping pong balls to the worst teams. Right now, those teams look like the Nets, Lakers, and Suns. So therefore, if it falls true to form, dealing with the record, even though it may not always do that, then it looks like the Sacramento Kings will get that pick for the 2017-18. Now, I want to say this, and I know some folk are going to crucify me for it. The reality is, I understand Vlade Divac's issue. It was hard to be able to trade a franchise player who is a cancer. Let's understand. If we go back historically, one of my favorite players was Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley was one of the greatest during his era. Matter of fact, he was probably top 5 when he played during the mid-90s. But when he got to the end of his time in Philadelphia, he was a cancer. Do you remember who they traded him to? I'll tell you. The Phoenix Suns.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Guess who they got in return?
Magic Beans?
Not Magic. They might as well have got Magic Beans. They got Jeff Hornacek before he went to Utah. Tim Perry. Andrew Lane. For Charles Barkley. But yet, Vlade got Buddy Hield, Evans, and Galloway. It sounds like Vlade made a better pick than the GM did on the Philadelphia 76ers back then, right? Would you agree?
I agree.
So now here's the thing that people did not take into consideration. Some folk were thinking that Boston should have made a play for Sacramento. The Washington Wizards should have made a play for DeMarcus Cousins. But why in the world would you jeopardize your team chemistry if you are in position to make a good playoff run? You don't know what kind of personality, attitude you're going to get with DeMarcus Cousins. I'm going to let you chime in. Since DeMarcus Cousins has been in the league, he has been in the top 10 for technical fouls. Top 10.
Okay.
Ever since he came in the league in 2010. 2011, he tied for 8th with technical fouls with 15. 2012, he tied for 6th, had 13 technicals. 2014, he was in 4th place with 16 technicals. 2015, he tied for 2nd with 15 technicals. 2016, he tied for 2nd with 17 technicals. And the season is not even over, and he already has 19 technicals this year. And the next technical foul, he's going to be suspended. So why in the world would a playoff team that's in the running try to trade for somebody you don't even know is going to be on the court?
Well, first of all, I got to correct you on one thing.
Correct me.
He is not in the top 10 of technical foul. He's in the top 3.
He's top 1 of all time.
I mean, there's no question. He is a loudmouth. He is a vocal distraction at times, but 28-12. Obviously, the Pelicans thought putting those two together could give them a chance to make a playoff run. They look at on the court as well as off the court, and then not so much off the court, because I see what you're saying. He may not be on the court. He may not be on the court to play, but somewhere, somebody in that front office or the coach, Alvin Gentry has been known, to be able to try to talk to players. I don't know what he can do with Cousins. Maybe they had a sit down or something, but I'm guessing that the Pelicans just hope that he tries to control himself, which is almost like trying to put a collar on a pit bull. they think they can do it. Hey, good luck. We're going to see how it plays out.
But see, a team like the Pelicans, I can see why they make the move. Because at the end of the day, they really have nothing to lose.
Exactly.
Because they're already on the outside looking in of the playoffs. So therefore, the Pelicans can roll the dice. But if you're the Wizards, you're in the number 3, I think, seed in the East. The Boston Celtics, number 2 seed in the East. You can't roll the dice like that, because also they would have had now Boston had a lot of assets that they could have traded that could have not even affected their team. They could have traded a lot of draft picks that they have.
Right.
But the Pelicans had nothing to lose. So therefore, I have to understand why the Pelicans would make such a move.
Exactly.
But let's shift gears real quickly. All right, because I think they probably got the best deal that they could get, and I believe Vlade when he said he got the best deal that he could do. Now let's talk to play in terms of what do you think a DeMarcus Cousins and Anthony Davis combo will be able to do going forward?
Well, I mean, as you just saw, against a team like Houston, combining for 52 points, that's a great start. But here's that factor that you mentioned. Davis may be out there. Cousins might not. You got to hope he stays on the floor long enough for those two to play. But just the absence of that guard.
Yeah.
And against teams like Houston, San Antonio, Golden State, it's going to be hard for them to win games.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be they don't have enough. Now, against Los Angeles Lakers, oh yeah, showtime.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Lakers are one of the worst teams in the league. But as far as those big boys, I want to evaluate them after 10 games.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see what they look like together after 10 games, and if anybody else is going to step up and help them, because if they don't get any help, 52 points will never. You still lose by 30.
Mm-hmm.
That's not good.
Well, you know what? I actually think DeMarcus Cousins has to be inspired. For, if had he stayed in Sacramento, signed the mega max that players normally can get if they stayed with their team, he would have gotten $209 million over 5 years. And because he got traded, he is going to lose $30 million. I don't care how much money someone makes. Losing $30 million ought to inspire you to be like Spike Lee and do the right thing. It ought to inspire you to be like Spike Lee and do the right thing. So I think they have a chance to be the most lethal post-court, or is it not backcourt, not post-court? No,
front court.
Front court, yeah.
That's
I'm
it.
losing my mind. Front court ever to play the game. They could be better than Ralph Sampson and Olajuwon, who played 3 seasons together. They could be better than Robinson Duncan, because when Duncan came on the scene, Robinson was towards the tail end of his career. So where they are now, both of them are in their prime, they can be the baddest front court ever assembled. Now, here are some problems. One is the depth and lack thereof. The New Orleans Pelicans have no depth. And actually, that's what got them drilled the other night against Houston. They were playing Houston pretty tough. Then once Houston put that bench into play, and Houston got a wonderful addition, getting the 6th man of the year with Lou Williams. You add him to that offensive machine called the Houston Rockets, they could really make some noise. I don't think they'll be Golden State, but they can make some noise. So they added Lou Williams, right? And when you start putting Lou Williams, and then you got Eric Gordon, who could have be arguably the 6th man of the year, they couldn't compete with that. So the bench play is terrible. So this is why it's going to hurt them. And I don't really know if they're really going to get to the 8th seed. But the other thing that hurts them is the rule change in 2001-2, where the NBA took out illegal defense.
Okay.
And now they have the zone defenses that people can play. Before then, it was all one-on-one basketball. Yeah. If those rules, or these current rules, were no longer in place, trying to defend Anthony Davis and DeMarcus Cousins one-on-one would be an absolute nightmare.
Don't be next to him.
And therefore, I would even give them, if they were playing under the old rules, a fighting chance, even against, don't crucify me now, the Golden State Warriors.
Well, the only thing, first of all, side note, when you were mentioning the Houston Rockets, I want to thank you for not mentioning one particular Houston Rocket. And you know who I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm not going to say his name. To a hint, he has my first name, but it means nothing. I don't even want to talk about
that is some Patrick. His name is Patrick Beverly. He is upset that he injured Russell Westbrook a few years ago. And remember, this is Coach Thomas, who loves OKC. So that's why it's hard for him to mention his name. But press it forward.
Villain. But anyway, Golden State's main weakness is what? Front court.
Front court.
Now, if those two are allowed to have their way against Golden State, and just say Golden State has an off night, we could have a series. I personally want to see an upset. Sorry about that, Kevin Durant. You still my boy. But, that would shake up the entire NBA, because everybody already, the executives, the pundits, the NBA brass, the ones who know everything, already say Cavs and Warriors. I want to see an upset. I want to see one of those two teams go down, and we have a mix. And Houston has the firepower, even though they still have Patrick Beverly. But I got to get off that. Houston has the firepower, and side note, everybody keeps forgetting Greg Popovich.
Oh, San Antonio Spurs. Well, here's the thing. I think the New Orleans Pelicans, if they somehow match up with the Golden State Warriors, they will not win. But they will, I think they could give Golden State some trouble, because, using somewhat church jargon, where Sacramento is strong, Golden State is weak.
Right.
And if the Pelicans somehow, and it's not going to happen this season, could get some shooters, could get some 2s and 3s, they could really give Golden State some problems. But right now, they are not going to get the job done with the 2s and 3s that they currently have right now. So they might as well just prepare for the 2017-2018 season to try to really make some noise. Because, like I said earlier, I don't even know if they'll make the playoffs. I don't know because they lack depth. And I think the Nuggets on paper have a more solid team across the board, where the New Orleans Pelicans have more star power. But unfortunately, the star power is not balanced across the team. It's just in the front court.
Right.
So that's the little talk about the New Orleans Pelicans and the Sacramento Kings. Just got through talking.
I missed the interesting discussion on this Boogie and
Boogie and the Boogie trade.
Yeah, the Boogie trade
To New Orleans, man. You want to just give some quick thoughts about it?
Well, I mean, I agree that they got a lot of star power in the front court. Mm-hmm. They definitely need a shooter. That's probably what's going to hurt them in the long run. The fact that they don't have, a serviceable 2 guard to go with Drew Holiday. And
right.
Drew Holiday, he's not that durable as of now anyway.
Right.
If he goes down, they're definitely done.
Right.
They're done probably now anyway because, like my man said, they don't have any serviceable 2 guard, any really wing player that can go and get his own shot. They got a point guard, but he's not that durable.
Right.
So it's a work in progress. I think, like you said, it'll probably be next year before the Pelicans are able to make some real noise with Davis and Cousins in the front court. But maybe, just maybe they could get that AC, but the trading deadline is over with. I don't see where they're going to add another shooter to the roster before they're able to play Golden State. So you're right, it may end up being just because. Now, I'm not saying this because I really do want the Pelicans to get the AC just to see if we can stir up a little upset, make some noise, give Golden State a little scare. Because Denver ain't going to give them
no, they're going to get swept like a broom.
Exactly. But, like he said, they are the best if you had to ask who's the best all-around team between New Orleans and Denver, I would have to go Denver because they got more good pieces, whereas the Pelicans just have 2 great pieces.
2 great pieces and a solid additional piece with Drew Holiday.
Exactly.
But you can't win with just 3 players.
No.
You got to have some.
You're not going to beat you're not going to beat the team with more good players.
No. Not at all.